That's why. That's part of the problem. This is a slide from 4 years ago showing how much levels of ozone would decrease in Tarrant County and around the area if you had only 80% reduction from the kilns with SCR. Only 80%. Now we're looking at 90%. This was the one measure that decreased ozone levels in Tarrant County more than any other single measure. So much so that the Star Telegram was able to write an article saying that if you just did this one thing on the kilns, that you could almost get down to the 85 parts per billion standard in Tarrant County. One thing. What we're asking you today is to include this one thing. Now, a lot of us have some suspicions that you waited a whole year to start this process because you knew last summer you were going to have to start it. You waited a whole year in order to shorten the timeline so that you could say about 3 or 4 months from now, well, we just don't have time before 2012 to build this SCR system in Midlothian. And we're asking you to take that time and to look at this SIP as not only an 85 parts per billion SIP, but a SIP that will get us down as well to the new standard that's coming out in August. Don't let it take you to 85 parts per billion. You know that the EPA will let you do that. And so will local officials. Let's get a head start on a much tougher standard so that by 2013, 2014, we can have SCR in these damn cement plants. Thank you.
Thank you. TCEQ and EPA can set good standards for clean air quality and have excellent people monitoring North Texas. But we will never meet clean air standards unless major polluters are severely punished. Many times when an industry or corporation is told that they are out of compliance with clean air standards, I fear they just go to their favorite U.S. congressman and ask that person to apply political pressure. An example is the years of pollution from cement plants in Midlothian. Fines are not enough. Anyone out of compliance should be shut down, and that includes shutting down gas wells that are out of compliance. Industries and corporations are not going to get in compliance because you or the EPA come and very nicely ask them to. They're not going to get into compliance because they're issued a big fine. Whatever fine you could issue would probably be equal to lunch money for them. Only taking action to shut down a well or shut down a plant will get their attention. And I realize it takes a lot of backing to deal with political pressures that would be put on your agency. But that's what it's going to take for us to ever have clean air in North Texas.
Hello, my name is Gina Cole and I live here in Arlington, Texas. And I just want an answer from you because evidently we do have a council person present that believes that we don't have bad air quality around our gas wells. He mentioned that in the council meeting the other night. He said y'all have never found anything, but we have misinformation in the papers, and the person releasing the information is you. So what is it? Have you found anything, or have you not? Would you put that on the record? Bad around the gas wells.
Oh.
So which is the truth?
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking the
That is the question to y'all.
Okay.
You know, you need to let us know. And with your little modeling, you didn't have gas wells. That should be the #1 thing for Arlington. You know, we don't even have a monitoring system. I have also called TCEQ and every time I call them, they seem to say, we're understaffed, we can't handle it, we can't help you right now. We have one of the biggest producing wells right here in Arlington, and then I asked, when is that going to be tested? Why wasn't that tested to begin with when you went around to Fort Worth and did your testing? And they said, we'll put it on the list. Well, how long is that darn list? You know, how long is it?
Well, the questions that you're asking are pointed to benzene and air toxics.
Yes, we're not handling that today?
No, let me just be clear that we only have 2 hours today and we're taking comments on the ozone.
But there is
yes, I understand. Let me give you a contact name and you can, and he has a website, you can look at all of that information. I can answer the question.
Answer yes or no. Is there a problem around the gas wells? Because evidently our council does not believe there is.
The information that we've taken, the data that we've taken shows that there is not.
There's not?
There's not a
There
problem.
hasn't been a problem.
None of, but the data that we've taken, if you're interested in hearing this, then you're going to need to quiet down. If you're interested in hearing this, then you need to be quiet. And if you're not, then that's fine. But if you'd like to know the answer...
Without the spin.
But there has not been tested in Arlington, though. I know that because I spoke to y'all several times, and they can't give me a date when they can come and test our wells, especially when we have the biggest Barnett producing well in South Arlington, of all the Barnett Shale.
I understand.
Okay, now I believe another thing, too. The find and fix thing has to go. I think people that...
We're done with the find and
It
fix.
needs to be fined and put in jail. If I broke a law, I'd be sitting in jail. I believe the people that run those
I
operations,
understand that.
just like the well that blew out at the coast, the person's going to walk away and not ever face prosecution. I believe they should sit in jail. If the state has to change the laws for it, you need to crack down on them and put them in jail. People that sit up here and permit these wells, they need to go to jail also, or you need to find the individual cities that are polluting the air.
We're here to take
Yeah, I
comments on
understand.
ozone. So the
Well, they're not in compliance
And we're asking for recommendations on control strategies.
Yeah, but okay, if they're not in compliance per city, can't we test per city? And if they're not in compliance, why don't you go after the cities and start finding them too?
We
That
are
would-
doing
that
testing.
would crack
We are
down.
putting long-term monitors out, which are needed in order to fully assess the health effects. The measurements that we've taken are short-term measurements.
Okay, what about vapor recovery systems? Everybody, they're out there, they've been produced, people have used them in the past.
That is definitely one of the control strategies
Well,
that we are
what
looking
about
at.
pressuring our cities to make that mandatory in their oil and gas permitting process to make sure that they do use them? And I don't care what somebody sits here and tells me that they don't have any wet gas. There is wet gas because they're fracking. It's water. It's condensate. I know. You know, so...
Right,
they need
and
to
I
put
understand
their-
that.
They need to put that
Vapor recovery on the state level, we are looking at it as part of our
Okay,
plan.
well, I
We are
appreciate
looking,
it.
and we are also looking at VOCs from the oil and gas facilities. When we last did our plan, Barnett Shale was not at the level that it is. It certainly is at a greater level. We are looking
Thank
at
you.
those emissions.
Thank
We
you for
are
acknowledging
looking at. If you'd like to make a comment, you can make sure that your comment gets on the record. Please don't shout out. If, as a part of our planning process, we are looking at those wells, we are counting the emissions from those wells, and those emissions are going into the model. We are particularly concerned about the monitors in Tarrant County because those are the highest ozone levels.
Yeah, I live in Tarrant County. Arlington is Tarrant County.
Yes. And I'm telling you that we are looking at those monitors.
Okay.
That our plan will address
The
those
last
monitors.
issue I have is how about TCEQ educating the people that make the decisions for the wells and stuff? Educate them and tell them that there is a problem and you're going to start monitoring it and it needs to be fixed because evidently they believe there's no issue until you tell them. Thank you.